then there is Naam. Please read it.
But Naam, or the vocative form of names, as well as the mantras that do not include Bija or Om, and which end not in the fourth dative case, but with the word Namaha, can be chanted loudly. For example, Hare Nam Krishna Yadavaya Namaha is chanted loudly.
Hari Hare Namaha Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. So this is mantra or Naam?
Mantra. No, Naam. Naam. Sorry.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is what ideally.
So we chant it loudly.
That's what it. But usually, if you see the tradition, mantras are not supposed to be chanted loudly. Anyways, this is not the main point. The point is, they may be chanting Naam. And Naam need not be mentioned in Shastras. The particular combination of Naam that they take. For example, we say Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Now somebody may ask, where is this mentioned in Shastra, in this sequence? So, it is not mentioned in Shastra in this sequence. It was Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur who made the song, Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. So that is Naam Kirtan. So they will be having Naam, because any individual is free to make a selection of Naam that they feel is dear. Tomorrow, if any of us feels that this Naam is dear to me, we are free to make a selection of those Namas. And the Shastra allows us that particular freedom. In the 11th canto, Evam Vratah Swapriya Nama Kirtya. Swapriya Nama. What is the meaning of Swapriya Nama?
Priya to me.
That is, Bhagavatam is brought in that way. So they will be chanting Naam. And we will be chanting different Naam. That's all. So Swapriya Naam.
Whatever is priya to the person. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So Prabhu, like in our devotional service, we have to do both, like sadhana and service. But sometimes when we get, like when we are we are like, attending classes, Bhagavatam classes, and we some kind of knowledge is very much profound that we do not know. We feel that we should spend more time in sadhana than in service, because we think that sadhana will get us like more, like it will be benefit us more. So how, like, and we feel that we should do our service less, like, but how do we balance, like, and how do we convince us that both is important and service can also help us to purify?
This question only arises in an institutional setting. Previously, when people used to perform bhakti, my grandfather, when he also was a devotee, but he was not in any institution. His village had 4 devotees, he was one of them. So how does he decide what he should do? That is ruchi. I hope you are able to understand. That ruchi was the traditional, where if you feel what is, what is more beneficial for your progress, it is specified in Brihad Bhagavatam. Prithiryato yasya sukham chayena samyak bhavetad rasikasya tasya sadhanam shreshtatamam susevyam sadbhirmatam pratyuta sadhya rupam Brihad Bhagavatam 2.3.152 kindly translation to.
Whatever the devotional method by which a man with true spiritual faith feels satisfaction and complete joy, that is the method seems the authority to be most excellent and effective for him. It is not only the best of methods, but the very aim of his endeavor.
So, this is the traditional yardstick. I'm telling you what is in the tradition, I'm telling you. But today it's an institutional setting, so you have to not only see what is joyous for yourself, you also have to see what is joyous for those devotees under whom you are serving. So you have to consider the joy of others. So you may feel, I like to attend Bhagavatam ask them also that this is what I feel, what do you think? Like that. Try to strike a balance. That it is easy. But this is what the tradition says is this. Okay? Straight from Sri Sanatana Goswami's pen. Alright, so anybody else? Yeah.
So Prabhu, when we discuss about Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and who are eligible for that? So who are eligible for Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga?
Buddhi Yoga is nothing but Karma Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is another synonym for Karma Yoga in the second chapter, and Sankhya Yoga is another synonym for Jnana Yoga. So we should remember this in Bhagavad Gita. Buddhi Yoga is a synonym for which yoga?
Karma Yoga.
And Sankhya Yoga is a synonym for which yoga? Jnana Yoga in second chapter. So Buddhi Yoga is nothing but Karma Yoga. Who is eligible for Karma Yoga? Anybody who is performing karma is eligible for whom?
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga. So Karmani eva adhikarasya ma phaleshu kadachana. This is what Krishna tells Arjuna. Karmani eva adhikarasya. Who is eligible? Then you have the right to perform your prescribed duty. Anybody for whom a duty is prescribed according to Vedas. And Vedas prescribe duty for all human beings. So all human beings are eligible for which yoga? Karma Yoga.
Karma
But
Yoga.
Karma Yoga in itself is not a platform of meditation. Why? Because by offering activities to the Lord, what will happen gradually? Your mind will get purified of the tendency to perform karma. Then you will engage in, you will climb up to another yoga. Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. So Karma Yoga is a stepping platform. It's not the platform after Karma Yoga directly got liberated. No. That is not how it is. Yes.
Prabhu, then I am not sure Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. It said that you should chant the name continuous and uninterrupted.
In Bhagavad.
Or Bhagavad Gita, one of the two. So when they say continuous and uninterrupted, and I've heard some classes or satsangs and stuff, so they say that even when you're doing activities, your chintan should be for Krishna and your mind should be there. But then how is it possible for one to work and do that?
It's not that. People say your mind should be here, your mind should be there. But the mind is not just a machine, you take it from one place and put it in another place. The mind has a life of its own, likings and dislikings of its own. So people tell what the mind should do, but people don't tell how the mind should do. So the mind will say, I don't know what to do. Why should I? So that is natural for the mind. So gradually, when after many years of forcing the mind here and there, and then people become little frustrated and then say what to do. So therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam says something about the mind. Let me try to find it. Please read the translation.
An expert horseman desiring to tame a headstrong horse first lets the horse have its way for a moment and then pulling the reins gradually places the horse on the desired path. Similarly, the supreme yoga process is that by which one carefully observes the movements and desires of the mind and gradually brings them under full control.
Bhagavatam 11.20-21. Krishna is saying mind has to be tamed like a horse. Like a horse you don't pull all the time. Like a horse will take you on a ditch. And the horse you don't let loose. Otherwise also the horse will put us into a ditch. Sometimes we let it loose, sometimes we pull. Now that is your expertise. Because you know the nature of your mind. That is your expertise, how you control the mind. But ultimately these tactics also are ineffective for focusing on now. What works is sneha. they have natural, mind will naturally go into and gratification. Mind doesn't have to be told, now you have to go and get gratification. It's any mind, it doesn't have to be told. Swabhavika samsati ichha, atishaya maya, prema, raga. That attachment of the mind is called as raga. Now, yatha chakshuradinam saundaryata, just like the eyes are spontaneously attracted to beauty, etc. So, tadrisha evatra bhaktasya shri bhagavati api raga ityuchyate. Similar is the raga of a devotee in Bhagavan. This is very important to understand. That the devotee does not fake attachment to Bhagavan. The devotee naturally has that raga towards Bhagavan. And therefore the devotee prays. Till the time the devotee has not attained that, he prays.
Prabhu, this Rag verse, what is the number for that verse?
This is Bhakti Sandarbha, Anuched 310. Yeah. This is quoted by Rupa Goswami. Yuvati nam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvatau yatha manobhi ramate tadvan manome ramatam tvai. Please read the translation.
Just as the minds of young women take pleasure in thinking of young men, and the minds of young men take pleasure in thinking of young women, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you, Krishna alone.
This is Rag. So this is a prayer from Vishnu Puran, and this is what we call Rag. That Rag has to develop naturally. Somebody may say, yeah, you're supposed to have Rag. You're supposed to have attachment 24 hours. Yeah, of course you're supposed to have. It's like two people get married, arranged marriage, they meet on the first day of marriage. First time they are seeing each other. So both parents tell them, you give something to your wife as a gift, and you give something to your husband as a gift. First day they are meeting, they give each other some gift. Now after 10 years also, if they have to be told what to do, so then there is something wrong. Okay, huh? So as that. So on day one, that attachment may not be there, but after 10 years of practicing bhakti, some feeling of belongingness towards Bhagavan has to be there. It's a gradual attachment. So it's not immediately on day one. And it's a culture that has to be practiced. And then Krishna is mine. Saval and feeling, and that has to come. So when will that come?
Is it Krishna is mine, or is it I am Krishna's? Or is it the same thing?
Aham,
Same?
aham, bhavana, mama bhavana. Aham bhavana is I am Krishna's. Mama bhavana is Krishna is mine. Aham bhav and mama bhav. Right now, aham and mama are connected to the material world, or to the body. When will aham and mama come in connection with Krishna?
When we completely surrender.
When
we completely surrender.
What is the meaning of completely surrender?
Like giving each and everything to Krishna, bringing each and everything to Krishna.
That we will try our best. बहुत साल हो गया.
Relying completely on Krishna's mercy for everything.
That doesn't translate to anything for me. I can be sitting here and say, now I rely on Krishna's mercy. Now let Krishna give the lecture.
When you do everything for Krishna?
Huh?
When you do everything for Krishna?
That's karma yoga. That's duty bound. I am speaking feelings have to be attached to Krishna. That is what I am saying.
No. Shanti.
All of these are mechanical tactics. They are not going to work. On coming in contact with a person who already has attachment for Krishna. I hope you are able to understand. Huh?
Yes.
Some of that rubs off onto us. How many of us would like to have little feeling of attachment for Krishna right now? If we hear from Rupa Goswami, he has immense feelings of love for Krishna. Would we like to hear from Rupa Goswami? So let's develop. Okay? Let's try to have a little bit of feeling of I and mind towards Krishna. So devotees, this is Sri Rupa Goswami. Sri Rupa Goswami describes that when Sri Radha and Krishna were growing up in Vrindavan, from childhood to adolescence, they did not grow up together. They grew up at a distance. Krishna was in Nanda Maharaj's home points can they be told? No, somebody is wrestling with the. So when they grew up, they started experiencing what is called as the first stage of budding love. This is actually a stage of separation, and this is called, technically it has a name. This name is called, please repeat, Purvarag.
Purvarag.
So what is Purvarag? Purvarag is when Sri Radha and Krishna are gradually growing up and they have initial attachment for each other, but because of society, they are not able to freely speak to or meet each other. Dear devotees, now you have to feel, don't write down notes. Okay, this is not this is experience type. This is a bad one. Carry this in the heart. Sri Radha and Krishna are growing up in Vrindavan, and for the first time they experience the first budding attachment for each other. What is the technical name? Purvarag is the stage of union or separation.
Separation.
They want to speak to each other, but they can't freely speak to each other because society is a big hurdle in the meeting of both of them. They are shy in speaking to each other. Therefore, what happens is Sri Krishna sometimes from the corners of his eyes he looks and he tries to see her, but he can't glance freely at her. And then she also tries to look sometimes from the corners of her eyes, but she can't glance freely at him. One particular day, dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami describes how Sri Krishna is standing on the banks of the Yamuna under a tree and he is playing on the flute. Okay, you have to visualize in this way part. He is playing on the flute, standing on the banks of the Yamuna under a tree. Suddenly from the distance he sees somebody coming and then something happens. Please repeat after me. The meter is Shardul Vikridikam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Sveda plavit pani padma mukula prakrantakam kodaya.
Sveda plavita pani padma prakrantakam kodaya.
Visrastama vijanatu murikam padaravindo pare.
Vishrastama vijanato muralika padaravindo pari.
Leela Balgita Pallavi Kavalita Swantasya Vrindavane.
Leela Valgita Pallavi Kavalita Swantasya Vrindavane.
Jiyatam Saripos Kribhanga Vakusha Shunyodaya Putate.
Jiyakam saripos tribhanga vapusa Shunyodaya Pulkriti.
Now all of you know what is going on. Okay? Our Krishna is where is he?
At the banks of Yamuna.
Standing and holding the flute in his hand. He is playing the flute. The devotee suddenly in the distance we see somebody is coming. Who is coming?
Radharani.
Oh my goodness, all of you already know. Suddenly the devotees hear the changes. Sveda plavita pani padma mukula. Suddenly the hands become sweaty. Prakrantakam kodaya. Suddenly the hands start shivering. And then Visrastam. Something falls from his hand. What falls from his hand?
Flute.
Avijanato, he is blissfully unaware. He doesn't even know that something has fallen from his hand. What has fallen? Muralika Padarvindopari. It has fallen at his feet. Achha, why did all of this happen? Leela Balgita Pallavi Kavalika. Because that gopi, she was walking in such a playful manner, looking at her. Kavalita Swantasya, our Bhagavan lost his heart. Where did he lose his heart? Vrindavane. Jiyakam Saripos. Rupa Goswami also throws a sarcastic pebble. All glories to the enemy of Kamsa. In front of Kamsa you didn't become weak. Jiyakam Saripos. All glories to the enemy of Kamsa. Tripanga Vakusha, who is standing in this threefold bending form. And when she came near, he tried to impress her by playing the flute, but his
out of.
This is. Now we will gradually begin to experience some. I hope you are able to understand. So, in association of a person who already has rag, then rag is developed. It is not developed by any mechanism. No, I will chant 168 rounds. ऐसा नहीं होगा. It will happen only in contact. Rag attachment for Krishna is not a material object. It comes from the spiritual world. It cannot be produced by material efforts. It has to be produced in contact with the person who already has it. Okay, so that is what it is. So this is the translation. Prabhu, can you kindly read?
The gracefully moving Gopi captured Lord Krishna's heart. His hand whispered and trembled. Lord Krishna, whose form was bent in 3 places, was unaware that the flute had dropped from his lotus bird-like hands and fallen to his lotus feet. He began to blow into what he thought was his flute, but no sound emerged. All glories to that emptiness blowing from the mouth of Lord Krishna.
There is an approximate painting. I could find only one painting for this. This is so this works and mechanical means don't work. Okay, so after, let's say, after more than 15 or 20 years of trying to figure it out, finally I got to the conclusion that the previous acharyas have mentioned. What works is contact with an existing devotee such as Sri Rupa Goswami, and then becoming sahridaya, like-minded with him, rather than trying our own tricks and techniques. So that is, mind should be engaged. Then the mind will keep thinking. Now this is one verse. How many verses did Rupa Goswami compose? Does anybody have an idea? The devotees, let me try to find if it is there. Said that Jiva Goswami and Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami composed 4 lakh and Rupa Goswami composed 2 lakh verses.
And Prabhu, they're all about.
Of course. That is what it is. Most of the literature we haven't read. So there are no previous acharyas.
They are available.
There is Sri Rupa Goswami. I am showing you literature. Satyavali. So all the verses are there in the Satyavali, all related to Bhagavan Shri Krishna's Leela. But it is after we undergo, when the desire spontaneously develops, that now I have to, become attached to Krishna. And after getting Diksha, etc., after one is situated on the path firmly, and with the permission of the Guru Jana, try to push. Okay? That is important. To become fixed on the path, Rupa Goswami says, first you require a Guru. And the Guru should be of that caliber. The Guru should be themselves situated on the path of spontaneous attachment to Krishna. And then the Guru can easily give. If you have $100, you can give me $100, right? That is what it is. Alright? Anybody else? Yes.
So, in Krishna consciousness, we talk about philosophy and we talk about law. So, like, which portion take like how much importance that we need to give? What exactly they use?
Philosophy and love. Our entire philosophy is centered around, basically, love is the goal. Philosophy is part of the process. So both are needed for us. It's not that we can sacrifice one for the other. So Tattva Gyan and Prema are both needed. So there is never such thing like what to be prioritized. Both have to be prioritized. But we should know Tattva very nicely. The basic foundation should be there. On top of the basic foundations, we can easily build a platform of rasa. That Tattva, the foundations of Tattva should always be. That gives a very strong foundation, and then we can easily progress from there. Okay?
Prabhuji, what is the easiest way to understand consciousness? Like one analogy which I had heard in a teaching session, it was about subtle body. So, for example, our mind is like read access memory, RAM. Then there is processor CPU, which is intelligence. Then there is chitta, deep mind, which is storage, which is the hard disk. And then there is current going inside the computer. So that current is consciousness. Is this the right analogy to understand? If I have to draw a link between consciousness and our subtle body, right now chitta is complete garbage. And because of that, the consciousness is also getting degraded. So what is the interconnection between consciousness and the subtle body that I want to understand?
First and foremost, consciousness itself has many meanings. Consciousness also refers to the state of mind that a person currently is in. For example, if there is a football match going on and everybody, is going crazy after it, you can say they are in football consciousness. Consciousness also refers to the extent to which one feels I am this. For example, this consciousness is till the point where this is where I end. This is where till this point there is consciousness. So there are many meanings of the term consciousness. If you look up an English dictionary, and if you search consciousness, it's one a cognitive state is also consciousness, and having knowledge of something is also consciousness. So both meanings are there, basically. So if you want an analogy to understand what is consciousness, in Shastra the term used is chitta. Chitta means basically it's translated roughly as consciousness. And chitta basically refers to mana, buddhi and ahankara. What is mana, what is buddhi, what is ahankara?
Mind, body, intelligence.
Mind, intelligence, consciousness. What is function of mind?
It's a switch, access objects.
Sankalpa and vikalpa.
Thinking, feeling.
Sankalpa and vikalpa. Seeing the various choices, accepting one choice. Seeing the various choices, accepting one choice. That is the function of the mind. Okay? Or you can say thinking, feeling, willing. So, though that is an English translation, but that does not include everything. Thinking, feeling, willing, counting.
Counting also, you have to think, right? 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sure, but there are many other functions which are not included in those three words: thinking, feeling, and willing. Sankalpa and vikalpa. Sankalpa, seeing all the available choices. Vikalpa, selecting one choice. So this is what is sankalpa and vikalpa. Sankalpa, vikalpa, atmaka. So if we see the Shastric definitions of the mind, मनस्तत्वम अजायत यत् संकल्प विकल्पाभ्याम वर्तते काम संभव. It's said in the Bhagavatam. The functions of the mind are sankalpa and vikalpa. What is sankalpa? Thought. And vikalpa, you select one of the thoughts. That is. This is the function of the mind. Second is intelligence. Intelligence function is to distinguish between what should be accepted, what should not be accepted, what is correct, what is not correct. That is buddhi. And ahankar is I-ness, ahamkar. Wherever any of these three functions is going on, that is what you call chitta. There is ahankar is present. I hope you are able to understand. So because ahankar is present, therefore consciousness is there here. Wherever there is mana, buddhi and ahankar, these three are functions of chitta, consciousness.
Chitta is deep mind, heart.
Chitta is consciousness.
Chitta is where all the past impressions and all the results are stored of a
That is
past
another
experience.
meaning of chitta.
Huh.
It is another meaning of chitta. If you are asking for consciousness, how do you define consciousness? Wherever there is function of mana, buddhi and ahankar, that is consciousness. But if you are asking about chitta, where the samskars are stored, you are asking about sukshma sharir. Sukshma sharir is where the samskaras are stored. When the gross body dies, the sukshma body goes to another body. That carries the samskaras. And that is your, and still sukshma sharir consists of what?
Mind and
Mana, buddhi, ahankar. Therefore I told you. Mana, buddhi, ahankar are basically what consciousness consists of.
So our impressions are not stored in the heart.
Heart is a physical organ or heart is part of mana, buddhi, ahankar.
It's a physical organ.
So that is not where that is not where it is stored. You can do a heart transplant, person doesn't change his heart.
So, this regarding our acharyas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in South India, until like I come to here in Canada, I don't know who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In South India, it's like very, very less. Okay. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Why when he traveled around the India, why South India people they didn't take that much?
He never proclaimed himself to be an incarnation of Krishna. This is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. In the Bhagavatam. 7:9:28. Channaha Kalau. In which age? Kali Yuga. Channaha. Yada Bhavas Triyogotha Sattvam. Kindly read this last section. Please read loudly.
In the age of Kali, however, you do not assert yourself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore you are known as Tri Yuga, or the Lord who appears in 3 yugas.
He doesn't assert himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When anybody would call Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna, he would close his ears and say, don't say this. Don't say this. You are glorifying me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying to Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, प्रभु कहे विष्णु विष्णु की कह सर्वभौम अति स्तुति हय ऐ निंदा लक्षण. Please read.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Sarvam Bhattacharya, why are you saying?
What are you
What are you saying? Lord Vishnu, save me. Such glorification is simply another form of blasphemy.
So this is his mode when somebody glorifies him as Bhagavan. So he doesn't want people to know that he is Bhagavan. That is why he never propagated that. There are many people who propagate themselves as Bhagavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never did that. Therefore many people don't know. And it's okay if they don't know. It's okay if they don't. We don't have to force people. Why don't you believe? That is not our mood. Our mood is, what does Shastra say about the incarnation of Kali Yuga? Who is the incarnation for Kali Yuga? One character will stop, he is hidden. Okay? That is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself. Second thing is, 11:532. Krishna Varnam Vishal Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Sumedasa. This is Yuga Dharma for the age of Kali, described 5000 years ago in the Bhagavatam. Alright? Can you kindly?
In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants,
Sankirtan.
Congregation.
So we have to understand which particular personality it was who fulfilled
Congregation.
this vision of congregational chanting of in the age of Kali Yuga. And then no forcing anybody. Just let people, those who are, therefore it is said, Sumedhasa. What is the meaning of Sumedhasa?
Intelligent.
Those who are intelligent will understand. You don't want to force anybody else. Okay?
One continuation, but after.
After, yeah.
Can you tell us about the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of him dancing in front of Jagannath and what bodily changes happened?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in front of Jagannath. That's a okay. To explain that, it will take a big background, but I'll try to do it as much as it is easily possible. You see, Krishna in Dwapar Yuga, he left Vrindavan and he went to one place. Where did he go? Mathura. And while going, he promised something. What did he promise?
And come back.
But did he come back? Where, at the end, where he came?
He just came here for times from.
That's not there in the Bhagavad.
Oh.
So Krishna left and never fulfilled his promise. And the Brajavasis were in separation from Krishna. Now this separation is not painful. It is not material pain. It is another variety of spiritual emotion, but externally it appears that they are experiencing pain. So there is no material pain in Krishna Lila. So after more than 40 years, Krishna happened to come face to face with the residents of Vrindavan in Kurukshetra. In Kurukshetra there was a solar eclipse. During the solar eclipse there was a chance to take a holy dip in the rivers in Kurukshetra. So the Vrindavan Vasis also came on that excuse and the Dwarka Vasis also came on that excuse. And in there, in Kurukshetra, after 4 decades, Krishna got to see the Vrajavasis. Now, Krishna's eyes were looking for somebody. Whom were Krishna's eyes looking for?
Radharani.
When his eyes were looking for her, still he cannot acknowledge that love publicly. Because you can't put a name on that. In the Bhagavatam, the names of Nanda Maharaj Yashoda are mentioned, names of all the queens are mentioned, but not even the name of a single gopi is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Their names were never mentioned. So after more than 40 years, when he saw face to face, she did not look directly at him. And her eyes were bent and she was crying. And he wanted to say a lot, but there were many people around. So, at that point of time, our Bhagavan could not repay the love of the Brajavasis. कालं क्वचिदविरतस्तत्र कस्ते परागम् आगस्कारिण्यहमिह यया जीवितं तद्वियोगे भर्तृप्राणस्त्रिय इति ननु त्वममैवानुमेयम्. And everybody went to fell at the feet of Sri Lanka and asked for forgiveness. So she said to him, कि पादांते लुठसी विमना. विमना माने पागल. You know what is pagal? Everybody knows. Him पादांते लुठसी. Why you fall at her feet? Swami know he swatantra. Don't you know kings are very independent? You are not a coward. You are king now. Kanchit kalam kochida viratas. For some time in your childhood, adolescence, you fell in love with us. Tatra kaste aparadha. What is your fault? Akaskarini aham. Actually, I am at fault. Jeevanam tad viyogi, that I remained alive even after the death. I should have died. But I remained alive after the death. Bhatra prana striyati nanu. People say that one can give up one's body for one's love, but I could not give up my body for you. It is my fault, not yours. You don't fall at my feet. So this is what she said as to him.
Dear,
Huh?
do you want me to? Dear love, why do you fall at my feet? You should know that those who are great kings and masters are independent to do whatever they want. You accidentally happen to fall in love with me for some time. Where is your fault in that? It is actually me who is faulty, for I am still alive even after being separated from you. You are my love, and I should have died in your absence, but it seems I do not have that love. Please do not ask for forgiveness from me.
This point of time, she is still not looking into his eyes. Krishna still stays. And then what was actually in her mind is revealed by the Vaishnava poet Chandidas. He is the favorite poet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I will sing. This is a song. Can you sing after me? Mandu kiyar bole botamre. Mandu kiyar bole botore. Apna kaiya tirti karino. Apna kaiya tirti karino. Rahite nalino gare. Rahite nalino gare. Oh dear friend, kiyar bole botore. What more should I say now? Apna khaiya tirti karino. I consume myself by falling in love with you. Rahite narino dhare. I lost everything. Now, kamana kariya sagare mariba. Kamana kariya sagare mariba. Sadiva mane sananga. Sadiva mane asada. Mariya eva nandana nandana. Mariya eva nandana nandana. Tomare kariba radha. Tomare kariba radha. Only one desire remains. Kamana kariya sagare mariba. I go to the ocean and die. Because I have heard that people who die with unfulfilled desires in their next life, that desire gets fulfilled. Sadhiva manir sadhana. Through this desire, I will attain finally what I want. And what desire will you die with? Maria Haiva Nandela. After death, next life, I will become son of Nanda Maharaj. Tomare Karibara. And you, I will meet Radha. Next life, you become Radha. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's favorite
पांडे व्यासकाय कवि से जाने भक्ति रति के माना ज्वाला.
Murli Shunya, hearing my flute, you will fall unconscious next life. Sahaja Kulera Pala, this time you will be the innocent minded girl. Tanvira says, only then you will understand Viriti Kemanva, what it is to work in life. So did Krishna appear again in his next life in the mode of Sri Radha? Did he have to faint on hearing Krishna's flute? Did he also develop a desire to drown in the ocean? Like Sri Radha did? Did he also hear Krishna's flute and then fall unconscious? But all of these things were okay. But on Rath Yatra, something special happened. So Rath Yatra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, but in whose mood?
Radharani.
Jagannath is Krishna, in whose mood? Krishna.
Krishna. And separation.
Yeah.
So, Jagannath Puri is Krishna. Jagannath is Krishna as a Dwarka, as the king of Dwarka. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in whose mood?
Radharani.
So, Rath Yatra is the day when she sees his chariot in Kurukshetra. And she sees him. And this time the roles are reversed. I hope you are able to understand that. So, that is when Krishna experienced the modes of Sri Radha. And his hidden desires were fulfilled. In Bhakti Yoga, we thought this love I cannot have. In this life, I will not have this love. Krishna was thinking, I cannot have this love in this life. If I have to experience this love, I have to come again. So after she said this, he'll have to come again. After this, she looked at him eye to eye. That was eye to eye union. And this eye to eye union was again during Rath Yatra. Then, because Jagannath in the temple is Shyam Sundar, it's like simple. But in Rath Yatra, the chariot is like Dwarka. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Sri Radha saw Jagannath in the mood of Dwarka Krishna. And that is when he understood what Sri Radha experienced 5,000 years ago in that tent in Kurukshetra. And that is where the desire was fulfilled. Again. So there is a big. Now we can feel little high and mind towards Krishna. That is required. This is required. And then when we chant, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
our chanting is for the pleasure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in whose mood?
Radharani.
So we are consoling her in her most difficult moment. Our chanting is not for controlling our mind. That is a side effect. It's for consoling Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the one who told us something. Yadi ama prati sneha
Yadi
Ama prati sneha
bhag sabaka
Bhakti sabaka
Krishna vyatirikta
Hare Krishna Vyatirikta
Nagai me
Nagai me
If you have any affection for me, then don't speak about any topics other than Krishna.
This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement. In whose mode is he speaking?
Radharani.
So our japa is for whose satisfaction?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
I will end with this statement. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur asks, who are the Gaudiya Vaishnavas? Please read the first 5 Karshnas.
And the devotees of Sri Radha are called Gaudiyas.
That's it. When you understand basically, as I understood the heart of Gaudiya Vaishnava. The question was very nice. That's it. Prabhu, you have to tell me when to stop, otherwise we will keep going.
If you have questions.
Prabhuji, how do we draw a connection between deep mind and subconscious?
These are all English terms. There are many things mixed there. Deep mind and subconscious. Deep mind is, there is no Sanskrit term for deep mind.
In Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says chitta. He says chitta. So that he's talking about, and some places he says mana. So mana and chitta both are used.
Man is one part of chitta. Man, buddhi and ahankar make the chitta.
And chitta is.
For example, you know, you can say there are three places here, what you can say, Brampton and any other
Mississauga.
Mississauga. Those three things they make Toronto. So you can say that. Sometimes, you know, one place is referred to as Toronto. That place only is not Toronto. There are other places also. Mana is sometimes called consciousness. So mana alone is not consciousness. Mana, buddhi, ahankar. These three. Yes.
Someone who is really into Krishna consciousness, like a year or something. So, what books do you suggest to start with? Like, I have read Bhagavad Gita and few other books of Prabhupada, like small books.
Yeah, small books are best.
Small books.
Small books are best. They explain Bhagavad Gita in a much easier way. Bhagavad Gita, then Srimad Bhagavatam, etc.
We have Mahamantra starts with Hare Krishna and then with Hare Rama, right?
Mahabharata? Mahamantra.
Mahamantra. So this was little modified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
It was never modified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Kalisandana Upanishad, you find the Mahamantra with Hare Krishna first. That's what you are saying, right?
It's Hare Rama.
Hare Rama first, sorry. Yeah. So let me point it out. It's in the Kalisandana Upanishad. In Kalisandana Upanishad, this is Kalisandana Upanishad, and you can see what comes first. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. See, this is Kalisandana Upanishad. But this is Vedas. In Tantras, the mantra is found with Hare Krishna first. This is Sri Radha Tantra, first chapter. I will point out. See, this is Radha Tantra. This is not published by ISKCON. This is published by Sampurnanand Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya, Varanasi. So it is not some Gaudiya Vaishnava publication. So that it's not influenced by any Gaudiya Vaishnava. Alright. So in the first chapter, 32nd verse, something is specified. Not 32nd, 39. Can you read it? You can read?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
The same mantra in the Tantra is specified with Hare Krishna first.
Chaitanya.
So there's no reversing. There's no reversing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did reverse it. It is available in both forms. The one with Hare Ram first is in the Vedas, the one with Hare Krishna first is there in the Tantras.
So basically, like we consider Rama as Radha Rama, right? I mean, as a Radha Rama.
Yeah.
So if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is already like he's in the mode of Radha, I mean Radha, then why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like prefer to chant? I mean her own name, like I can say his own name, like.
Prabhu, the name is Radha Raman. Ram, what is the meaning of Ram? No. That should be Rama. Ma begins with Madhav, begins with Ma. Ram, what is the meaning of Ram? So, go, has dhatu to laugh, ram dhatu to take pleasure. So Sri Radha Ramayan Nityam, he takes pleasure with Sri Radha, therefore he is known as Ram. Ram is not a name of Radha. Ram is a name of Sri Krishna. The final name indicates Sri Krishna. Okay? That is the answer.
And Prabhuji, Hare stands for Radha when we say Hare
Hara.
Krishna. Hara is Radha. So Radha Krishna Radha.
Yeah, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is chanting, Hare refers to Hari, because he is calling out Krishna.
Because he is in the mood of Radha.
But when we chant, we want to see both of them together.
Yes.
That's why our conception is different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because his mood is different. And we are supposed to render service to him. So our mood is slightly different.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would sing Krishna, 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 Krishna.
Huh.
Order.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also chanted. Have you seen that mantra?
Krishna.
Krishna, 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 Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare. Listen to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chant.
Prabhu, before I come to Krishna's abode, I was hardcore devotee of Lord Shiva. And even like when I go to Tirupati Balaji also, everyone says Govindas. Without knowing that, you should say like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So now it's twisted completely opposite. Even like whenever I'm saying like Shiva, I'm saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So like I have little feeling that like, is it completely correct? Like completely.
Chant a mantra for Bhagavan Shiva. There is a Gaudiya Vaishnava mantra for Bhagavan Shiva. Why not chant? Have you seen? Vishwanath Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Please repeat. Vrindavana Ganipate Jaya Soma Soma.
Vrindavana Ganipate Jaya Soma Soma.
Maule Sanandana Sanatana Naradedya.
Maule Sanandana Sanatana Naradedya.
Gopishwara Braja Vilasi Yugangri Padme.
Gopishwara Braja Vilasi Yugangri Padme.
Pritim Prayachha Nitaram Nirupadhikam me.
Pritim Prayachha Nitaram Nirupadhikam me.
Vrindavana Avanipate. Oh gatekeeper, oh Lord of the main gatekeeper of Vrindavan. Jaya Soma. Jaya Soma. What is the meaning of Soma?
Beverage. Soma beverage.
Sa Uma. He who is along with whom? Uma. Parvati. Sa Uma. Sa Uma. And Soma Maule. Chandra Mauli. He who has the Chandra on his crescent. Sanandana Sanatana Narada Idya, who is worshipped by Narad, Sanatana, Sanandana, etc. Oh Shiva, oh Gopishwara, because in Vrindavan there is Gopishwar Mahadev. Vraja Vilasi Yugamri Padme, at the Angri Padma, at the lotus feet of the Yuga of the couple of Sri Vrindavan. Pritim Prayachaditaram, give me spontaneous love, Nirupadikam, causeless love, O Bhagavan Shiva. This is my prayer to you.
Prabhuji, in Bhagavad Gita 10.12, it is mentioned that, I think Srila Prabhupada mentioned proper that even somebody like Lord Shiva cannot understand Krishna's personality completely. So sometimes I find this contradiction, like Shiva is a very great devotee of Krishna. So why is he a great devotee and he cannot understand him? Like
Tomorrow will be the last class, so if you can